Alright, so it has been bloody 2 whole weeks since I last made a video on the Senna career mode, but we're back, and after last episode's incredible, spectacular win at Jeddah, one of the best ever drives in the series, we are now going to Melbourne, another one of my favourite tracks. For some reason, there's something about it, I'm absolutely rapping around there, and I always do well. We currently sit P4 in the standings, 26 points through 2 rounds, really isn't too shabby, especially when you consider where the car currently is, you know, all the way down there. Also joined by the Red Bull. Just like in real life, their car is absolutely crap, just not this level of crap. I mean, at least it's still like top 3, top 4. This is what? P8? 8th slowest? That is incredible. Also, Visa Cash App RB maintaining their lead at the top of the R&D, and that reflects Sergio Perez and Yuki Tsunoda both being in the top 3 in the driver standings. So, let's not waste any more time and get into qualifying. Yeah. Alright, so before we go out for the first run, let's take a look at the lap times. Yuki Tsunoda proving that the RB is still on top. With provisional pole as it stands by only 30 milliseconds ahead of Hamilton, and what a lap by Vax Mastrapon. To put the 8th fastest car P3 is pretty spectacular. It's good to see that there is a bit more realism in this game than we once thought. Lando Norris as well. Honestly, P10 isn't too bad. Considering our car is P7, we should be aiming for, well, P19 for the slowest, and then you'd have, you know, P17, you know, sort of P like 12 or 11, or actually no, P14 or 13, that kind of area, and he's in P10. So currently, above expectation. His lap's about 1 minute 14.75. That's what we've got to try and beat. But look how close it is as well. There is only 3/10 between the top 13. So every millisecond counts. Let's have it. Here we go then. First lap of Melbourne. First time playing this game in like a week. Let's see how we get on. I think it should only take me 1 or 2 laps to get up to speed, so I am sort of treating this more as a warm-up lap rather than an actual full-on quali attempt. Through turn 1, a little bit of oversteer, but that was quite snappy, that was quite fast. I'm going to hope that this Ferrari gets out the way. They don't. Can you get out the way, please? You know what? You've done a lovely job there. I don't know which Ferrari you are, but fair play. Now, through sector 1, I am going to be a 10th down on Alex Albon. That's not brilliant, but I will say my sector 2 and 3 are usually a little bit better than my sector 1. So let's see how it goes. Sector 2 coming up. There you go. I've gained about 700ths, but still down on Albon, which is a bit concerning. That means I'm probably quite far away from, well, Lando and the rest of the front runners. On a bit wide through there. Definitely track limits, but do me a favour, just pretend you didn't see it. Thank you very much. Into the final sector. This has been a shocking lap, but it's my first lap in like 2 weeks, so give me a chance. At the final corner, definitely could have been a bit more greedy with the ERS. When we cross the line, it's going to be a 15.2 and a P17. Yeah. I still believe in the comeback, but not how you want to start, is it? That was a bit shit. Here it is then. We have a minute left of quali. Lovely clear track ahead. This has to be everything. If I want to break it, just at least into the top 10, this has to be absolutely every millisecond I can find. Let's have it. Through turn 1, late on the brakes, send it in, throttle even earlier. Overtake on the exit, bang, already a 10th up. I'm going to be a lot more greedy with the overtake. Braking into here, that was a little bit late, but I can recover it by just using a bit more braking. Slight lift through there, gas it nice and early. Flat through there, and there it is. Already nearly half a second up. Send it through there. Oh, that is beautiful. Another 10th of a second found. I can probably afford to go down to about 25% on the overtake. We're going to deploy it now. Come on then. Checo Perez goes fastest. Go all the way down to 20. Now here I need to use a little bit less braking, and okay, that was fine actually. I still gained a bit of time, but I didn't want to have as much wheel spin, I guess you could call it. Into the final sector, brake a little bit more so I don't go off track limits. That was lovely. Turning a little bit later through here on the curb, that's okay. Braking in on the curbage. And then, yeah. It's not even that good. It's not even that good. It's actually pretty mid. Only a P8. Actually, to be fair, did I beat Lando? I didn't even beat Lando. That actually, I thought that was brilliant. I thought that was world class. Turns out it was crap. It just was. I mean, within 700ths of Lando, it's not the absolute end of the world. As a team, it's a very good result. We have both completely outperformed where the car should be. Lewis Hamilton, round of applause to you, sir. You do have the second fastest car, but to take pole position over the dominant racing bulls, which I never thought would be a sentence that would be said, but it's true, that's a very good effort. So we go into the race, starting P7 and P8. Hopefully, that could lead into a nice points haul for the team. In the constructors' standings, we are currently P4, but we are only, you know, well, we're 2 points off Ferrari and Mercedes, and we're 23 points off RB. So, you never know. Maybe, hopefully, by the end of this race, we could creep up into P3, maybe even P2. So let's get into the race. And it's it. Oh, Jesus wept. That is the most horrifying sight I have ever seen in my life. That was actually worse than when West Ham played Newcastle last season and lost 4-3 after being 3-1 up. What am I... Okay. A wet race, at least it makes it a bit more exciting, do you know what I mean? There's a little bit more action going on. It's just, obviously in the wet, overtaking is, you know, it's already pretty difficult. Add in wet weather, it's nigh on impossible. So, climbing up the field, maybe not so doable. So I'm going to set a new target of maybe just don't lose any places. Just stay within the top 7, top 8, and just confirm some good points. So this is interesting. Well, you can see what I'm about to say. For the first opening sort of, what, 5-10 laps? The game, well, actually, yeah, so it's going to rain for the opening 5 or 10 laps, but the game actually wants me to stay on slick tyres in these conditions. Alright, well, there's no point going to inters if everyone else goes slicks and I go inters, I'll be buggered. I did actually change my setup. I was going to increase my aero because it's raining, so that's what you're sort of meant to do. But now we're going to actually be using slicks. I'm going to revert that change. Very bog standard strategy. Fuel is going to be ready. And here we go. Starting a race in the rain on slick tyres. This could be the most chaotic start in Formula 1 history. Let's do this thing. Off the line we go. It's not a bad start. A lot of RPM going through the car. Let's just try to not spin, which I have managed. We have Hulkenberg going for a move on me. Not going to let it happen. Through turn 1, Hamilton. Not Hamilton, it's actually Russell. I forgot about that. Fighting Norris. I'm just trying not to spin at this stage. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to hope that my teammate can actually get a place, or at least, like, you know, barge Russell off a little bit so I can make a move up, but it looks like that isn't going to happen. Lando going for a lovely move on Russell, actually, potentially sneak around the outside. Come on, Ned. Oh, yes! That is lovely teamwork from the McLaren boys. We are an absolute unit. Lando did exactly what I wanted him to. He pushed Russell off, and it allowed me to sneak up the outside. So, me and Lando already both up a place, and there we go. Bosh. I will say as well, the conditions are nowhere near as bad as I thought they were going to be. This is like, it's like driving with inters on, if you know what I mean. Like, pretend you're driving on inters, the grip level, the exits, like stuff like that. It feels like I'm just driving on inters. So this is actually very, very manageable. And one thing as well is that it seems my straight line speed is, well, it's otherworldly. Oh, that was a big snap. That's a problem. But let's see. It's a good opportunity to test out my straight line speed. Using the overtaking, yeah, I'm just gone. Okay, that is very good to know that my straight line speed is mighty. So, if I get DRS, I should be able to go for a move. But with the way I'm currently driving, i.e., you know, nearly spinning out every corner, that isn't going to happen. Bro, I'm going to need these conditions to ease up a little bit because I can't drive. I can't do it. The fact I haven't, like, crashed already is genuinely astounding. I'm already 3.5 seconds behind Lando. I've got the entire grid right up my arse. I just can't drive. Every corner I'm nearly spinning out. Russell going for a move now. Cheeky prick. And he bumps me as well. What an absolute toss pot. And I can't even chase him down because I can't drive. It doesn't work. See, look, when I go around this corner, look at the speed that Russell can exit out. If I tried to do that, I'd just die. This is so cringe. I'm hoping, I think the weather was until about lap 5 or 6. So I just need to hold on until then, and then hopefully my pace can improve. But through there, Russell just gone. Already a second ahead of me. Meanwhile, I'm struggling to get round. It's just not fun at all. What is positive, though, is that Lando's cooking. So that's a good thing. For the team, at least. Alright, then. Fair enough. Oh, I can't do this. I'm going to crash, and I'm going to die. What has Hulkenberg just done? Where is the AI getting this grip from? Please tell me. Oh, what an absolute relief. The rain is finally letting up a little bit. We are now on lap 7. I have managed to stick with Ocon, which I feel like is a pretty impressive feat in itself. And now we are slowly returning to the dry conditions. Hopefully, once it's fully dry, I can maybe go on a little comeback and try and... Oh, yeah, that corner's been horrible to me. Maybe I can go for a little comeback, but yeah. I don't know. This is the most I have ever concentrated in my life. Alright, it's time to make the only pit stop. And it looks like we might have finally returned to normal conditions. And what a blessing, because I have literally been unable to, do anything. Like I said earlier, this is... Oh, see what I mean? It's still not fully there. The track is not fully dry, but this is by far the most I have ever concentrated in anything in my life. You know, this has been insane. But we're still going strong, kind of. Just need to get in the pits, come back out, fresh tyres, and then just give it some. And hopefully... I can't do it. I still can't drive properly, but somehow try and catch up to Russell, who is now 6 seconds ahead. All right, here we go then. Pit stop time, and I didn't even realise. Look at the state of my rear tyres. That is insane. 36% on the rear left. It's no wonder I couldn't get round a corner without nearly spinning. And then we go and get a slow stop. So we've had unfortunate weather, which has slowed me down by about 2 seconds a lap. And then you give me a slow stop just to add into the absolute crappery that this race has been so far. Alright, that's cool, I guess. Right, let's go for an overtake, shall we? My first and only of the race. Here we go. On Charles Leclerc. Round the outside. Bang. Have some of that, mate. See you later. Ciao, as Ollie Ben would say. Track is now basically back to completely dry, which is a massive booster. Not just for my, potential result, but also my confidence. I feel great now. I do have to be careful, though, because Leclerc is going to go for a move back. He's going to get that, isn't he? What a tosser. That's really annoyed me. Can I try a little undercut? No, he's got that. Prick! Charlie's looking for a move on Hulkenberg. Go for it. Oh, you're such a little baby. He won't go for a slightly daring overtake. That is the AI all over. Now, if I can, I need to try and clear both, Hulkenberg and Leclerc. Hopefully in quick succession as well. There is Lance Stroll. Round turn 1 we go, and look at that. I have managed to get ahead of Ocon, who, remember, I was behind before I went into the pit. So the undercut has kind of worked. But if I could somehow get past these two ahead of me and undercut, Russell and slightly cut back that, gap, who knows? You know what I could really do with right now? Actually, maybe not. Maybe in like a lap or two, like a safety car. That'd be really nice. But it's time to go for a move. I'm going to go all the way down to 20% overtake. Leclerc's looking for it on Hulkenberg. He's going to get slowed down. Round the outside. Let's do both of them. I'm going to be put in a wall. But we are through. And I'm not done yet because look who it is. It's Teo Pourchaire. I've got no overtake left. I don't need it, mate. See you in a bit, blood. You're gone. Retire. Get out of F1. That is a triple overtake for Sayerton. I give up. For Senna. For me, for Fat Crim, I am now up to P12. And what a massive boost that could be. Come on. We have more cars in the pits now. That is going to be good. Joe Guan Yu, as I also take the fastest lap, and I have come out in PA. 1 place higher than I went in. And I'm only 3.5 seconds away from Sonoda. So I have gained about 2 to 3 seconds using the undercut. What a tremendous W that is. Right, I have a bit of a problem here, which is that Hulkenberg is bloody lively. He is insanely rapid. We have a yellow flag up ahead. It's going to be Teo Pourchaire. That is going to save me for now. Obviously, yellow flag, no overtaking. There is another DRS zone, though. And Hulkenberg's going to go to the inside. I'm going to, you know, brake a tad bit later than normal. And I do defend it. But that's not very good with how fast Hulkenberg is. Like, that is scary levels of pace. Here he comes again. And with DRS, he's gone. That is the situation. I'm going to try and fight it around the outside. Hey! There you go. Hulkenberg gets DRS again, though, and I'm just going to say this quick. Just, you know, I hope Codemasters are listening to this. Oh, that's convenient. Thanks, Hulkenberg. Maybe they are listening to this and they gave me a bit of a blessing. Thank you very much. What I was going to say is that it's very cringe how when you get to the upper lots of AI, I'm currently playing on 110 AI. They don't make the AI go faster, they just boost their car. So when you play on 110, you don't really stand a chance down the straights. You might be fast in the corners because they can't really make the AI go quicker through there. But on the straights, they just boost their engine. If I was playing on 109 AI or 108 like I do with other tracks, my straight line speed would be the best. It would be by far the best on this grid. But because I'm playing on 110, they just boost the engine, so it's better than mine. Unbelievably cringe. I hope they change it, but it's been like it for so many years now, I don't think they will. It's also interesting to note that I'm currently losing about 2 seconds a lap to Sonoda and Magnussen and the like. What is going on today? We have the dodgy weather, which makes me, you know, slow, that you can notice because I'm nearly crashing every corner. Then I get the slow pit stop, which I lose 2 seconds. And now I'm losing, you know, lap time to everyone. But most prominently, the cars ahead, I'm losing 2 seconds a lap. Are they just being carried along by DRS? Is that what's happening? Because I'm confused. There are 2 laps remaining now in this race, and, well, I'll be lucky to finish where I currently am. But PA is, unless it's a DNF up ahead, PA is the best I'm going to get this race, which is fine, I guess. I mean, I think it's where I started, so I didn't lose any places. It's just, I feel like the weather completely cooked my opportunity today before it really started. I mean, that, like, you know, using slicks in the wet really just wasn't working for me. I'm not entirely sure what it was, but I just did have less grip, like, simple as. If I tried to use the amount of throttle that AI were using, I would just be dead. So, I'm not too sure. But all I'm going to be focusing on now is, of course, just staying ahead of Ocon and Leclerc and, you know, Hulkenberg and all them lot, and take home this PA. It also seems like Lando Norris is on for a very nice result. I think he's within the top 5 right now, so if he can stay there, that'd be a lovely recovery drive. And it's not even really a recovery drive because our car is, well, I am where our car is, and maybe even still a bit ahead. Like I was saying at the start, this car is supposed to be within the top, like, 13, 12, that area. I'm in P8, Lando's, like, top 5, so overall, this has been a very positive weekend. I don't know. Actually, I've just taken a look in the bottom left of my screen. Lando is currently in the lead. Oh, go on, Lando, son. Now, some might be saying, why do you want Lando to win? He's your teammate. He's your biggest rival. And I'm going to be perfectly honest. I've already won the Drivers' Championship twice. I'd much rather just win another Constructors than, you know, focus on the drivers, especially in the position I'm in. I mean, whether he finishes first or second, he's going to go ahead of me in the drivers, probably. And I think he has actually survived it. He has. He now goes into the final sector. I think we are about to witness a Lando Norris W. I think that's only his second of the series, which is unbelievable, really. I know he won in the Netherlands a season or 2 ago, but Lando Norris crosses the line and wins the Grand Prix. What a W result. And mixed feelings about this one. I come across the line to take home a P8. And I'm really not sure how I feel about it, because I feel like I drove really, really well. And when you look at it at that angle, like, I did think I drove exquisitely, by my standards at least. I feel like then I should be happy. But when I look at the fact that I was getting gapped by, you know, Magnussen and Tsunoda and Lando Norris by a considerable margin, that whole wet weather bit at the start where I couldn't drive straight, you know, the slow pit stop, that race was pretty cursed. I do have the feeling that if I started where I was and there was no pit stop error and a completely dry race, I feel like I wouldn't have got to Lando's level, but I probably would have got within the top 5, top 4, maybe even on the podium. But Lando Norris, round of applause. Everyone stand up and give Lando a round of applause. That is otherworldly, world class. So here's the finishing results of the race. Lando Norris wins by 1.3 seconds over Hamilton. Weren't even really close. I managed to finish P8. As you can see, my fastest lap is actually pretty competitive. It is only slower than Hamilton, Perez, Tsunoda, and Russell. So I have the 5th fastest lap. And one thing I want to quickly take a look at before I look at the standings and wrap up the video is the race director. Lando Norris for the opening couple of laps was doing what? Oh, what an absolute mess that is. So we'll say 23 and 24. If I go down to me, I'm in the 25s. And also here, 23s and 24s. At this point, Lando was running in the 21s and, you know, 22s. So that is why I was losing so much time. Same with the rest of these lot. I mean, taking a look at this, honestly, I mean, it's bad, but it's nowhere near as bad as I thought. I mean, to lose multiple seconds in those opening couple laps is pretty shocking. What I want to have a look at, though, is my lap times compared to Lando's when it became dry. Last 5 laps. Let's take a look at this. So, Lando is doing high 16s. I don't know what happened on the final lap there, but if we take his last 5, excluding the final lap, he was in the high 16s. I was in the low 17, mid 17s. Wow, so I got profusely diffed by Lando and the rest of the grid in the top 8, top 10. Not just in quali, but also in the race, it seems. All right, nice one. Looking at the Drivers' Championship, Lando does overtake me by 5 points and sneaks up to P4. He's already got, like, the same amount of points as he did the whole of last season, so good job, Lando. Not great, though, is it? I mean, you got Leclerc on 29, Russell on 30, I'm on 30, Lando 35, Tsunoda 35, Hamilton 36. So there is only a 13-point gap between P8 and P2. That is really, really close. What about the constructors, though? Okay, so I had the target of maybe sneaking ahead of both Ferrari and Mercedes. We got ahead of Ferrari very easily. We're now 13 points ahead, and we're 1 point behind Mercedes. Overall, I think that's positive. Given everything that was thrown at me today, I think that was pretty good. Now, I don't know what race is up next. I can only hope that it's a track where it's, you know, not going to rain. And, you know, I can actually drive the car and maybe pull in a good result. But that's going to be all from me today. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, like and subscribe if you're new around here. All the good bollocks, you know the drill. And I'll see you lot, hopefully tomorrow. I've set myself the challenge of uploading every single day this week. Let's see how it goes. See you lot later. In a bit.